Coach Bricks here. Hey, I want to talk about, I posted something about since the beginning of training camp where most of the NFL injuries occurred or ACLs have occurred on turf or grass. The majority of people pick turf, which is what most people think in their heads because they think the rise of ACLs has come about because of turf. Okay. And you're going to get all these professional athletes. Yeah, man, this turf stinks. This turf's this turf's this. Well, I'm going to tell you that that's actually incorrect this year. Okay. More it's occurred on grass because if you go back to training camp, most training camps are done on grass. So I think there's like at the point that I looked at the statistics, this is before week 5 or whatever, there have been 22 ACLs. I think 16 of them occurred on grass. Okay. So what is the reason? People ask me this all the time. What is the reason? And the majority of people say it is the turf. Okay, that's not proving correct at all. What is the reason? This is my honest opinion, is our movement, our lack of movement. So let's look at an athlete of today. Okay, so let's take a high school kid, even a pro kid, a pro athlete. They sit the majority of the day. Okay, in high school you sit 7 to 8 hours. You go home, you sit some more. Then you might have practice. Then you sit some more on your screen, whatever. Professional athletes, they have practice, they have film is sitting, all this kind of stuff. You might practice for an hour and a half, 2 hours, maybe a weight room session, whatever. So maybe you get 3 to 3.5 hours of movement a day. Okay. Then you go and you have your film, you have your stuff like that. Then you're sitting, you're playing your video games, you're doing whatever. Boom. Do you see an issue? Go back to the old days, okay, where you had to work 20 to, or you had to walk 20 to 30,000 steps per day, where the average of today is only 4 to 6,000. Huge difference. So there's a broken movement pattern somewhere along there. There's a lack of movement, which causes the broken movement pattern. But yet we're going to go blame it on the turf. Let's look at our training. Let's throw 600, 700 pounds on a person's back and then say, okay, go do this and hit somebody or go strike the ground at this much. The human body, by designed by God, is designed a certain way. And you have to look to other animals. Now, are we like other animals? No, thank God we're not. We can communicate. We're much higher on the food chain, all this kind of stuff. But you still have to look at them to gain some perspective on human life. So if I am made in the image of God and I need to be a hunter and gatherer because I need to go hunt my food, I need to gather it, I need to be able to move. Okay. I need to be able to be explosive. I talk about this all the time. As you age, you lose that explosiveness, right? Unfortunately, that's one of the things. Okay. But then you start to move incorrectly. Okay. When you don't take proper precautions in our movements. So if I'm not explosive as I age, okay, not as powerful, I'm going to have some issues. Now you're going to talk to me about, well, these football guys are so explosive and so this. Yes, but they load so much weight, okay, at some point in their life, whether it was in high school, college, whatever, they load so much. And then it starts to deteriorate. I always tell people, in most cases, most injuries do not occur with that injury that you see. Okay. So a non-contact, when I tear my ACL, it's typically leading up to it. There's already been breakdowns in the patterns. Okay. There's been shearing in the ligament, and eventually it snaps. Okay. And you can even get a lot of doctors to agree with this. Okay. It's usually not just one move that shears it, it's constant repetitive movement that's wrong over and over and over and over. Eventually it snaps. So that's what we have to start looking at. We have to start looking at things deeper. Now, like I said, this is my opinion. And I've taken this from a perspective of how God made us. Like I said earlier, hunters and gatherers. We got to be able to sprint. We got to be able to get away from danger. Okay. We got to be able to move for long distances. When you sit for long periods of time, your body starts to conform to a different way. It's not the movement pattern it was designed to be. Okay. Our DNA has not changed since the beginning of time. But yet we have changed in the sense of our environment, our lack of movement. All these kind of things play a major role in what's going on. So this doesn't just occur with the ACL, but this is occurring while other things are happening. Plus, also look at this. Okay, and I really want you guys to look deeper into this. Is almost every single ACL and Achilles is when the heel drops too far or snaps that ground. Now, am I saying every single time your heel drops, you're going to have this? No, but when there's that great force, okay, applied, and that heel drops in, there's a greater chance of ripping it up. Now, that's not just me. You just have to look at it. There's video evidence of it. You just watch. Most ACLs and Achilles are occurring when this heel drops. So how do you work on that? You have to develop stiffer ankles. Okay, strong, stiff, bouncy, what I call ankles. There's a lot of other things you can do, but we have to start looking at things differently. Don't just run right away to say it is the turf. Okay, just like I tell athletes of today, you're not all that greater than we were 100 years ago. We have potential to be just as great now. We just didn't have the knowledge of the technology that we have now. And we don't run on surfaces that they ran on back then. They ran on surfaces that were very against human force, applying force into the ground. The ground, okay, number one, cinders and things like that these athletes had to run on do not produce the force back into the body like the rubber of today, the rubber tracks, the rubber turf, all this kind of stuff. So you're having these issues. Okay. That's why athletes of today look so much greater than before. That's not necessarily true. We have to start looking at things at a higher level, start looking at how God designed us, and then start thinking how we should be. And then I think we can start getting to better answers and understanding of what we need to do. Now, there's other things that I'm studying on, other things of other strength coaches that are actually working on things and trying to figure these things out, which is great. But don't just run to the turf. Okay. Don't just think it's always a turf that is causing all these issues. This is our lack of movement. And we all know the longevity issue. Okay. If you want to live longer, you got to keep moving. All right. That's what we got to do. Reach out. Let me know what you think. Have yourself a blessed day and God bless you guys.